Kindergarten friends. I have something very exciting and interesting to share with you today. So, I know that lately in school we've been talking about the places around us, right? And I was thinking a great idea, something that I think would be very interesting for us to learn about today, would be maps. Because if we've been talking a lot about the places around us, maps would be a good topic to learn about, right? Okay, so this is titled Me on the Map. So, have you ever wondered, how big am I compared to the world? Miss Carter thinks about that all the time. So let's find out. Maps tell us just that. Maps also tell us where places and things are. They show representations of landmarks, objects, and other things, and they can also be used for things such as weather or elections. So have you guys ever seen, maybe if your parents have the news on the TV, and the weatherman's in front of that big map with all of the counties? Yeah, that's a map that they use for weather. And then for elections, we just had an election, didn't we? I don't know if you guys seen the election map, but those are used for elections as well. Okay guys, so maps of course have features that make them what they are, maps. So maps usually always include a title. So what are we looking at? Like, what is the map of? It could be a map of anything, right? They need a key. So say that there are little objects or little symbols in the map. How are you going to know what those are or what those represent in a map if we don't have like a little symbol that tells us what it is? So that's what keys are used for. There's such thing called as a scale. So we know that maps are tiny representations of bigger things, right? So if we were to do a map of Ohio, we can't have a piece of paper as big as Ohio, right? Because then we wouldn't be able to see it on a smaller scale and know what we're looking at. So that's why maps have scales. And then there's things called landmarks, and maps usually have maybe symbols of landmarks in certain areas that make a place or a region special. And then there's also labels. So we would use labels for representations, like if we didn't have an object that didn't have a name. So that's what we use keys for. But labels would be things like street names, or I guess for a weather map, maybe something like rain or something like that. There are so many different kinds of maps too. Let's compare ourselves on a larger scale. So let's see, how small are we, kind of like a little dot, compared to maps? And let's zoom in, okay? So this says my continent. So there are 7 different continents. There's North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. Can anybody guess what continent we are on? I'll give you guys a second. We are located in North America. Let's dive in a little deeper and let's zoom in on this map here. My country. our country, we all share the same country, in this classroom at least. We are all present in the United States of America. So let's zoom in again, and the next thing would be our what? My continent, my country, and my... what are we moving to? Let's find out. Our state. So we all, again, have in common that we live in the state of Ohio. And then after our state, it would be our city. And usually before our city comes something called a county. So, we all reside currently in Athens County. What city do we reside in? Or what city do we stay in? We stay in Athens County. And that little guy there is right on Athens County. And we also stay in the city of Athens. Some of you, if you just live in maybe a different city, but you go to Athens City School. So your school is at least in Athens. And then we're going to zoom one more time. Next thing would be your street. This is just a zoomed in map of Athens County. And Miss Carter has an apartment on Ohio University's campus. So if you see that star in the center there, my street would be somewhere. So friends, that is all I have for our lesson on maps. But I do have an activity that I think you guys would think is real fun to do, and along with this lesson. So I was thinking what we could do is make maps or representations of our own very rooms. So I know that everybody's room is very unique and different, and my room doesn't look like yours, and yours doesn't look like mine, right? That would be pretty weird. But I think that would be a good idea. So what I want you guys to do after this video, I want you guys to grab out a piece of paper, a pencil, and some coloring utensils so that you guys can draw a map of your room. Now, when drawing a map of our room, we don't need things like a scale or things like landmarks. At least not for now, unless your room is really big and you can fit a landmark in there. But I want you guys to make sure that when you guys go make your maps, that you guys have a title, a key, and labels on the things in your room so that people know what those objects or those symbols represent in your room. And that is all I have for you guys. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy the activity. Bye, kindergarten friends!